Hey love, how's it going? I'm going to answer a couple, maybe one or two Facebook questions today. So I have my coffee, go and get yours, and I will see you in a bit. Okay, so I have here Danny. Hi Rachel. Hi Danny. Really finding your YouTube videos helpful and cool. Thank you so much, Danny. I'm currently living in Vanuatu. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I am Australian. I speak French at a basic level. I love learning it. I am wanting to move to Paris to live and work for a period. Problem is, I am 34 and do not have a EU passport. I am a retail manager and a personal trainer. What would you suggest be the best way to make my dreams come true and find a way to work and live in Paris? Okay, so first thing is, you being 34 is not a problem. That's actually pretty good. It shows 34. You got wisdom, experience. Second thing, not having an EU passport. I personally don't think that's a problem. There are ways to get around not having an EU passport and living and working anywhere in Europe. Okay. So, second, no, maybe third, you have two choices here. So you can either look for a job as a retail manager or a personal trainer. Okay, so let's first talk about the retail manager part. If you're looking for a job in a company like Gap, H&M, Mongo, etc., and the first thing you need your work papers. You need what you call a titre séjour, which gives you the right to work. Okay, if you don't have that, then you will actually have to have those companies sponsor you, where they will apply for your work papers. Okay, now you have a basic level of French, but the positive side of it, you love learning it. So this is what I would suggest. And I would suggest this way because it is legally correct. I would suggest you go to Paris, find a school, go part time, and learn French. So you can go, I'll give you a suggestion. I went to Institut de Catholique in Paris, and they have a course where they teach foreign students French. So you can learn from conversation, speaking, grammar, and I found it excellent when I went to that school. And I went part time to catch up on my French. So when you apply for the school, they're going to give you, at the time when I went to the school, it wasn't that expensive. I paid like 2,200 francs. I have no idea what that is in euros. So do a Google euro thing and find out what francs is. But I'm sure that's the price is no longer going at that price. So here's this thing. When you apply to go to a school in France, you are now have a statute as a student. Okay, so your school is going to give you papers where you can go down to the préfecture de police and you can apply for a student titre de séjour. Okay, so once you get the student titre de séjour, now you have what I would call it gives you right to work 20 hours a week. Okay, hold that thought. So you're a student, you already got the paperwork, you're paid to go to the school, you went down to the prefecture, you already got your paperwork going with the prefecture, and boom, you got your titre de séjour. So then the next step is you have to go down to another office, and it might have changed. So you might want to update the process because it's been a long time since I went through that process. So then you have to go to another office where you give your titre de séjour and you give the paperwork that the school gave you saying that you're enrolled as a student, and they will give you a work permit. And on that work permit will say that you have a right to work, but you cannot go over 20 hours a week. So as a student in France, you have a right. It gives you a right. I need to stop saying you have a right. It gives you the right to work 20 hours a week legally. So, one thing is great with that, you can then go and apply to work in these stores, in these different retail stores. And at the same time, you can improve on your French. So, you can go to school, practice to get your level of French better than what it is today. And then when you go to work, you're actually in real life situations with French people. Okay. So that's one way that you can go about making your dreams come true. And one thing is, like, there's tons of French schools in Paris. There's also Alliance Français. When I was in San Francisco, I went to Alliance Français in San Francisco, and it was okay. I didn't do Alliance Français in Paris, but I know there's one there. So you can also check out the classes there. And there's tons. You also have the Sorbonne that gives French classes as well. So you can check out these different schools and to see which one, the prices that you can pay, and that will give you the paperwork that you need to making your first option retail manager and living and working in Paris. Okay. So the second option is okay. So let's take a scenario. Maybe you want to just go over for like maybe 4 or 5 or 6 months, or maybe just a year, and you don't really have a lot of money to go to school, okay, or to pay for lessons in an actual school. So other option you can do is they have these classes called continuing education. They're called Greta, which is spelled Geta, and they're evening classes, okay, where you can go. You actually have to go to the mairie, which you actually have to be in Paris, and you have to go to the mairie and ask for this book. It's called Continuing Education. It's actually like a thick book like that. And it's called Greta classes. So, and it has tons of different classes for people who want to continue their education, but they don't have a lot of money. And in there, they have foreign languages for people. So you have all kinds of languages. You have French, German, Chinese, etc. So how do I know this? Because I took a Spanish class. I wanted to improve on my level in Spanish. And I took a night class, and I think I paid like 50 euros at the time. It's really inexpensive. However, that will not give you the paperwork. They will not give you the paperwork that you need to get your titre de séjour. And a lot of people make a mistake, because I know I've met other foreigners who went through that continuing education. Well, the city, like in every city in France, you have that. It's called the Greta, and it's actually is making it accessible for people who don't have a lot of money. And regardless if you have, your titre séjour or not, they're making a way for you can go to school and not pay a lot of money. So they're not going to give you the same paperwork as you would get at Institut de Catholique, where you can use that paperwork for your titre de séjour. So that's the only thing. So there you're actually, great, I'm going to learn French. You can advance on your French at a very cheap price. But the con is you're not going to be able to get your paperwork, get your titre de séjour with that class. So the personal training route is kind of touchy because the laws are different here in France. So you actually have to be aware of that. I know in the States, if you're a personal trainer, you can go through a certified program. And then after, you can set up your own personal training business. And then you have to get insurance. Okay, you have to get insurance just in case someone hurts themselves or etc. So for the insurance part, is very important. You actually will have to have the same thing here in France, because you never know what kind of client will, react to you teaching them how to do burpees. Who knows? And you don't want that liability. So it's kind of difficult with a personal trainer, because in France, they do not accept foreign certification. So if I went to the University of, I don't know, Texas, and I got a degree in yada, 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 fitness, and I came to France and I want to teach that, I will actually have to go through the certification program here in France, which is a BPJEPS, or there's another one called a CPQ or QCPQ, certification professional, etc. Is a certification where you can teach. Sorry. Ooh, sorry. A certification that you can teach groups, but you cannot teach individuals. So let me give you a little bit of information on BPJEPs. And you're probably saying, how, Rachel, how do you know all this? Because if you went over to my blog or you notice it says Rachel helps you balance your lifestyle and fitness, I am going through the personal training process here in France. So that's how I know all this information that I'm giving it to you. So the BPJEPs is 9 months, okay? And it costs from $4,000 to $5,000 if you go through a private school. They do have public schools, but you have to I think you have to go through. There's one public school. What is it? I forgot the name of it. It's in Nantes, and it's a little bit cheaper. But anyway, it's 9 months. And it's pretty intensive. And then after the 9 months, if you pass, you actually get this diploma. And the BPJEPS is really good because you can actually go and teach in schools. You can teach in primary schools. You can teach in gyms. And you can actually start your own personal training business. Or you can open up your own gym. And then you have the other one, which is you can't teach to individuals, but you can teach to groups. So if you're deciding to do yoga, you can go in a gym and teach a yoga class. But however, you cannot go in a gym and teach one person, one individual. So that's a personal training route. So thing is, you can probably market that to a lot of English speaking people in Paris because there is a huge community of English speaking people. And if you go that route, you have to be careful of the insurance. So you have to do some searching. Okay, how do I use my certification and I do it as a small business, personal training, and ensure where I can have individual clients, but you're not in order with French law as to teaching that. So I would say, no, you're not in order you're not in line with French law, so you could have some repercussions to that. So the personal training route, really think about it. Maybe go through that program that allows you to teach in gyms. And it's actually very quick. It's 2 months. It takes like 2 months, and it's around like 2,000 euros. But you get your certification, and then you can go work in gyms, and you can start your personal training business. And they also give you information about insurance, and you're in line with French law, and you can sleep good at night knowing you won't have any problems, and yada, yada, yada. So I hope I answered your question, as in making your dreams come true. And everything depends on you and how long you really want to stay in France. So if you just want to come over and have an experience, and like, okay, maybe 1 or 2 years, you're really not thinking of staying your whole life here in France, then I would say go the student route and enroll in a school somewhere, and that will help you improve your speaking level of French, and also your writing level, and then that will give you also right to apply for titre de séjour. And then you can find a job which is 20 hours per week. And then you can see what other doors open for you, what other doors may open for you. Okay? So I hope I answered your question. And take care, Danny. And I will talk to you soon.